In this video, I go over my top 10 picks for New Comic Book Day, May 26th of 2021. What's going on, guys? Justin here, aka Noga Comics, and welcome back to the channel. I'm bringing another top 10 picks of the week for you for New Comic Book Day, May 26, 2021. If you guys are looking for some new comic books coming out next Wednesday, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit that little bell notification so you can be notified of all the new videos that I'm putting out each and every week. And of course, for this segment, I put out every Thursday morning where I talk about next week's new comic books. So this is for May 26th. Let's dive into it. I have a list here. I'm going to do things a little differently here. I'm going to go through each one. Want to try to keep this within a 10-minute, segment. So appreciate anybody. Leave a comment in the description below if you agree with this list. If you think I missed something, I always like to clarify that these books are just books that I personally am looking forward to, books that I've been reading as they've been coming out and I'm really excited for. So these are just my top 10 picks of what I'm excited for in the new week. I keep pointing over here, looking over here, because that's where my computer is. So let's just kind of dive into it. So this was tough. This was another one of those weeks. I had 13 or 14 different books. There's a lot of good books coming out this week. I mean, it's every week. I always say that. I should clarify, every week is a great week for reading new comic books because, yeah, looking through all these things here, there's just so many different books. So I had to narrow it down, got my top 10 here, and so let's dive into that. So first one up that I have on the list, I have Robin issue number 2. Really enjoyed the first issue, just this new launch, and I clarify this now. I'm not a big DC guy, or I wasn't a big DC guy up until recently, just started exploring a lot. So I don't have too much knowledge based on Robin here, at least on this particular Robin, so Damian. But from where things kind of tied in from last issue, Damian goes off on his own. He joins this big tournament. It almost reminded me of like Mortal Kombat, where he joins this big tournament essentially to prove himself. It's called the Rules, or Lazarus Island is where he ends up going. So I'm not very familiar with that place, but anyways, there's a bunch of other goons that show up there, including a character that we learned. Her name is Flatline. I guess that was like her first appearance last issue. So yeah, there's a lot of dueling going on and some crazy stuff happens at the end of it. I won't get into all those details, but I really am enjoying it. Joshua Williamson is doing the writing, so there you go for that. So really cool artwork as well, done by Gleb Melnikov. I apologize if I messed that up, but yeah, so there is Robin issue number 2 for my number 10 pick of the week. Let's see, going into number 9, again, this is tough. We're gonna go with another DC book, Harley Quinn issue number 3. Guys, I know this is, I've talked to some people about it. People have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings about the artist, Riley Rossmo. I think that he is in many ways just kind of perfect for this series. A Harley Quinn, loose, wacky craziness kind of story. If you're not reading this right now, I definitely recommend at least checking it out. Harley Quinn is exploring kind of being on the good side of things. She's working with Batman. She's trying to help the clowns in Gotham, the ones that need help or that are, she's trying to help turn their lives around. And so she meets this one guy, his name's Kevin. In the past couple issues, we do get some insight on him, and I really like his character. So that alone is what's keeping me going with this particular series. So let's see this. The writer here is Stephanie Phillips, and then, like I said, Riley Rossmo, which I know a lot of people are very hit or miss with his artwork. I'm not very familiar with some of the other things that he's done, but I've heard a lot of people talk about his stuff. It does take some time to kind of get into, but again, for what the story is and who Harley Quinn is and just kind of this wackiness, I just feel like it kind of fits this series. So I'm curious what you guys think of that. Let me know down in the comment section below if you like Riley Rossmo's work and if you like it for this particular series. But that's my number 9 on the list as we go with Harley Quinn issue number 3. Let's see, going into, did I skip one? Maybe I skipped one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, I kind of did. That's okay, because all these ones towards the end of the list kind of blend in. But so I'm gonna go with number 8 as The Girls of Dimension 13, issue number 2. I don't know if you guys have read this. This is an Aftershock book, which I praise Aftershock. If you guys don't know, I love everything that Aftershock is doing. So I automatically buy any issue number 1s and I give it a shot from there. And so far, this past year, every issue number 1 from Aftershock that I've bought, I've loved. At least enjoyed enough. I shouldn't, maybe not loved, but I absolutely enjoyed enough to want to buy that second issue and continue with it. So this was one of those where I don't think I would describe it as I loved it, but I did really enjoy it, and I'm very curious about where it goes from here. So this is, The Girls of Dimension 13, written by Graham Nolan, and the art is by Brett Blevins. Love the artwork in here. Basically, it's about these 4 girls who are all called upon from this one woman who's very rich and owns a mansion, and doesn't really tell them why she's bringing them all here. But they all sign up because they want to get close to the city. They want to live in the city. The 2 of them were going to school. There was an opportunity for them. So they're like, yeah, this is great. And there's a couple rules of the house. One is that they have to take care of the dog. There's a dog that's in the mansion. And then the second rule is you can't go in this one particular room, which of course, when a butler tells you, hey, 2 rules, one of them, you can't go in this room. Of course, you're going to explore that. Of course, you're going to go in that room and see what it's all about. So that is exactly what they do in issue 1. And we get to see some of their powers, which is really cool. Cause again, they are like these witches that they all have their own different abilities and specialties. So you learn a little bit about them. I do like the character building in this so far. I will give issue 2 a chance. So I am looking forward to that. So that is my number 8 on the list. Let's go into number 7, which again, this is getting tight now because there's a lot of great ones, and all these could be up towards the top. These all could be like a number 3, 2, or 1. So my number 7 pick is actually going to be, sounds so weird to say it, Shadecraft issue number 3, which I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. This is an Image book, an Image release. Look at that cover. That is such a gorgeous cover. Beautiful artwork here. Let's see, the artist, Antonio Fabella, if I'm saying that right. He's been doing the artwork here. Absolutely loving it. And also Lee Garbett. Lee Garbett's also tied into the artwork as well. So I'm not sure who actually did. Oh, Lee Garbett is the one that did these covers. So there you go. And then the writer Joe Henderson, who I'm not as familiar with either, but I know this recently got optioned. It's been a lot of hype with the first issue coming out and all. I genuinely just liked I like the issue in general, so I would recommend it. It is about this high school girl who kind of goes through like normal high school drama and dealing with dating and things like that. She has a brother who's actually in a coma. And again, these are just some things from the first issue. Brother is in a coma. She misses him. She's also very angry at him. The parents are there trying to do their best. And she has this shadow that kind of follows her around. She's kind of discovered this. She's also been attacked in the first issue. And she's saved by her shadow, which kind of turns out to be her brother. So I don't know. We learn a little bit, we're starting to learn anyways, how he got into this other side of the world, like where he's her shadow. But it's really funny. It's really fun and witty. The artwork's insane. It is really gorgeous stuff, especially the fact that they're showing these cool shadow shapes and stuff. Really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So that's my number 7 on the list, Shadecraft issue number 3. Let's see, number 6 on the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, number 6 on. I'm getting them all mixed up. Number 6 on the list. We are going with Haha issue number 5. And well, first of all, if you like horror books, this is definitely one you want to be picking up. I think that one of the great things about this is you can kind of jump into any issue because these are anthology stories, so they're just a mix of random stories, or each issue is based on a separate story that doesn't really tie into anything. I think the first issue blended in the second just a tiny bit, like barely, like there was just one little hint to something, but really you didn't need to read the first issue to understand the second issue. So that's what I like about these things. You can kind of jump in wherever. Also, personally, I'm a big fan of clowns. I know it sounds weird, but I like the creepy, scary clowns like It, Pennywise, big fan. So this is issue number 5. And I will say these are very dark, and dark in a way that's like ties into some real world type stuff. The writer, Maxwell Prince, he's been doing such an incredible job. They've gotten a lot of different variant covers here, I see. But Gabriel Walta is doing the artwork on the interior for this. I don't know if Gabriel's consistently through. Yeah, I think it is. I think Gabriel's doing all the artwork here. So I've been really enjoying it, and ultimately, again, since they're all different, different story arcs, different anthology stories. You can kind of just jump in anywhere you want. So I will say there are some very heavy topics. It is not for kids, so keep that in mind. But anyways, that's my number 6 pick of the week for next week, May 26th. Let's see. Coming up next, we have Nuclear Family, issue number 4. That is my number 5 pick of the week. Nuclear Family, another Aftershock published book. Really, really enjoying this. Stephanie Phillips is writing it. Tony Chastain is doing the artwork and the cover art. And basically it takes place in the 1950s. There basically was this bomb raiding that happened. And this main character, him and his family, they get down into their bunker. They survive the bombing. They come out, and they're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Milwaukee, when life was just all normal. And then out of nowhere, the sirens go off, and these bombings happen. So they wait a couple days. They come out of this, and they find out that 10 years had gone by, and they are being accused of being communists in Milwaukee. It is crazy. It is really crazy. The person who he used to work with, he recognizes as he's a military officer. He tries to talk to him and says, "Hey, we literally used to work together. How do you not remember me?" And he's like, "I don't know this guy. This is weird." There's a lot of secrets to this, but basically it's 10 years later, and things are very, very confusing. So in the way that we read it, it's like only a couple days that they're in this bunker. So that's where it gets really weird, or confusing, but it really caught my attention. So that's why I really enjoy it. And just generally speaking, really enjoying it. So, I'll leave it at that. That is my number 4 pick of my number 5 pick of the week is, Nuclear Family issue number 4. All these numbers are throwing me off. Let's go into my number 4 pick of the week for New Comic Book Day of next week, May 26th. We are going with Chariot, issue number 3. Now, again, these final 5 that I'm talking about all together, they really could mix and match because it is all very close. It is all very close. So Chariot, issue number 3, I one of the things I really want to give this a shot initially, the first issue, which, by the way, I think this is a 5-issue set. So this is issue 3 of 5. Priscilla Petrates is doing the artwork for this, and I fell in love with her art. I absolutely love it. She's done stuff for Rat Queens in the past, and when she took over in the middle of that, and then I discovered her on Instagram. Love all her work there. Eventually, I hope I can get some of her commission pieces. Would be really cool. So this book right here, this is a pretty cool cover here. Issue number 3. It's written by Brian Edward Hill, who also is a very big writer, so that's also a big plus to this book. And then Jeff DeCal doing the actual artwork for the cover, I should note as well. So Jeff DeCal, love a lot of his artwork that he does, Daredevil and so on and so forth. So that, I think all that combination just really pulled me in for this particular issue. So this is AWA Upshot. This is what was I going to say? Yeah, so 3 out of 5. Takes place in the Cold War era. Secret government project that kind of went under when this girl agent basically crashed her car, which was this like awesome vehicle, this awesome weapon vehicle, and it sunk to the bottom of the sea. Basically, it gets discovered years later by the main character who we meet now in current day, and he's working on it at the shop. He has some personal issues that he's going with his family. His son has cancer. He's trying to make money to be able to pay for the treatments and be able to get his son through this process. His wife is not with him. They're divorced or split. So he's kind of low on life right now and trying to make up with where he can. And then the other kicker is he owes a lot of money to the mob, to some really bad people. So one of the things that kind of gets him out of this, or at least initially, is this vehicle that he takes on. And it just kind of reminded me of like Transformers, where this vehicle kind of comes alive all on its own and has all these cool weapons and gadgets and just takes out all these mobsters for him. And then when he tries to get back in the car, lo and behold, the actual agent is there, the one that actually died years ago in the car when it sunk in the water. So yeah, really interesting read here. I do recommend it. I'm really enjoying it, loving the artwork. Hey, that's up there, number 4 on my list. So that should be telling you something. Definitely check it out, as it's only a 5-issue series altogether. Pretty easy to dive into, or you can wait for the trade. Might be a good way to go about it as well. But that is AWA. That is my number 4 pick of the week, Chariot issue number 3. All right. Down to these last 3 picks. This was tough because again, I mean, I'm talking these five. These three could be, any one of them could be number one. I'm just going to kind of go with what my gut is telling me and where I left off with some of the previous issues and where I stand with all that. So my number 3 pick of the week is actually going to be Two Moons, issue number 4. And it has been absolutely incredible. If you guys are not reading Two Moons, I highly recommend checking it out. Let me see. So this is Arcudi. John Arcudi is doing the writing. Artwork is by Bill Crabtree. And also Valero Giangordano. I apologize if I messed that up, which I probably definitely did. So Two Moons it's like all over the place. I'm trying to think about how I could really describe this book. It's about a Native American in the Cold War era. I'm sorry, the Civil War era, and he basically gets raised by people that aren't his family and takes a certain side. It is a heavier issue, or it is a heavy series. They talk about certain things, but he's very tied into his Native American heritage, and he starts to get visited by these ghosts. This is a horror book, so if you're into the horror stuff, as I mentioned before, this is perfectly down your alley. I do recommend it. Even if you're not into horror stuff, it's a really great book. The artwork is tremendous. I fell in love with the artwork, especially after issue 2. Like, issue 2 was just like completely won me over. It's just so good. So I do recommend giving this a try. The first trade is probably wrapping up in these next couple of issues. So if you do want to wait for the trade for that, you could do so, since we are on issue 4 now. But I won't get into too many other details other than this is a book I did not think I was going to like, and I was wrong. I was very wrong. So keep that in mind, that these things happen. Don't judge a book by its cover. Give it a shot. Even if you don't think you're going to like it. I did that with like Scouts Honor. I didn't think I was going to like Scouts Honor. I love that. You guys know I talked about that before. So anyways, Two Moons, issue number 4. That is my number 3 pick on the week. Let's see. We're getting down to it here. Of course, I'm at like 17 minutes. I just can't get this video down to 10 minutes. Can't do it. I talk too much. Let's see. This was, oh gosh, this is so tough. All right. My number 2 pick is actually going to be Department of Truth, issue number 9. I am loving this series so much, and it really can be like like 1 and 2 here. Really can just be 1 and 1A and 1B, honestly, because Department of Truth is got to be one of my favorite series out right now. If you're not reading this, again, another kind of horror type vibes, thriller type vibes, some really interesting stuff that they talk about with. The book covers a lot about different theories of conspiracy theories. So if you're into that stuff, or even if you're not into that stuff, because I'm not really into that stuff, but I really like the concept of this book overall. I'm not going to go too into detail with it. I'm sure you either heard about it or you're already reading it. And in fact, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this series right now. Put that in the description below. My big thing about this is issue number 8. We got back Martin Simmons on the art, the interior art. He's been doing all the covers. He did issues 1 through 5 of the interior stuff. Then we took a little break, and issue 6, issue 7, I wasn't crazy about, more because of the artwork. I just wasn't as much of a fan. Issue 7, I did like the story a lot, that alien-focused topic. So that kind of won me back. I feel like issue 6 was maybe the weakest out of all the issues so far. And even that I really enjoyed. So not really to put the book down. But this is a James Tynion book. I love everything that Tynion's been doing lately. He's just been killing it on all fronts. Writing for so many different books. So keep that in mind. The guy's very busy. He's still putting out some awesome fire. And then, like I said, Martin Simmons, I don't think there's another artist that really could do what he does for this book. And that's why I was a little off on 6 and 7. But 8, we get that back. And 9, he is back again on the interior. So hopefully this is a thing where we're seeing him stay on this book again for quite some time. But yeah, so a lot of cool covers for this that I'm looking through right now. My goodness, there's always some really dope covers. So yeah, that is going to be, wow, I can't believe we're already on 9 already. That's awesome. Really enjoying this. Would love to know what you guys think. That is my number 2, or my 1A. We'll call it 2. My number 2 pick of the week for next week. Let's see. Down to the nitty gritty. You guys must be thinking, if that was number 2, what the heck is number 1 on your list? Because that's a tough one to beat, right? Very tough one to beat. But I got to go with another Aftershock book for my number 1 pick. Oh, by the way, before I announce it, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And make sure you hit that little bell notification because that always helps. Leave a comment in the comment section below too, because I am very curious what you guys think of all these lists of books that I'm putting out each week. Is it helpful to you? Do you care at all? Do you not like my list at all? Give me some feedback here. I'd love to know a little bit more input. I hope that this can bring some insight and open up some thought to, you know, exploring some other books. That's really what I want to do. These are books I enjoy. I hope that maybe you can take some time to pick up a few and enjoy them too. Or let me know what you think at least. If you didn't like it, let me know that too, because I just like talking comics. So would love to hear your input. Anyways, let's get back onto it. So number one, I mentioned this Aftershock. That was the teaser, right? I'm going with Shadow Doctor issue number 4 as my number 1 pick of the week for next week. I can't believe Shadow Doctor is out again already. I feel like it just came out. I don't know. I feel like it just came out. Maybe it's just me. I guess it's been a couple weeks, but man, oh man, I am loving this series. It is arguably my favorite read right now of indie comics. I am just loving it. Maybe of all comics right now. I really is up there. I think that and Nightwing are like my two, you know, books, generally speaking, you know, of all the publishers. So for this, indies, Shadow Doctor's got to be as my number 1. And again, going back to what I was saying before, not judging a book by its cover, I did not think I was really going to be into this. But I will say something I really like about, or one of the many things I really like about Aftershock is that Aftershock will put little information or little clips of new books that are about to come out. So when I was reading Scout's Honor, back in January when the first issue came out, they had planted a little, you know, 4 or 5 pages of this particular book that got my attention. And basically it's a story that takes place back in the 30s. And one cool little catch too is that this is actually based on a true story, and not just based on a true story, but it is based on a true story of the writer's grandfather. So think about that and how that all ties in. Really cool stuff. So this is, by the way, written by Peter Calloway. Artist is Georges Gianti. And yeah, so it takes place in the 30s. It's about a doctor who went to med school trying to become a doctor and had been turned down for any practice to any of these hospitals because of the color of his skin. And when he couldn't get a job there, he tried to open up his own practice, but he needed money. So he went to the banks, and the banks actually turned him down, and so he could not get the deal of getting any loans or any money from banks. So then he had to turn to an old friend of his, which sounds weird that this was a friend of his or a colleague, I guess you can say. But he knew Al Capone. And so he actually went back to the mobster himself and got an opportunity where Al Capone said, you know what? I'm going to lend you some money. You can open up your practice here, but you essentially you're working for me. You're going to help me, right? So it's kind of a rundown of where things are. Definitely, Again, I did not think I was going to like this book. I love it. I'm so glad that Aftershock had put that information in the back of their previous books that they do that. And I'm just, again, it's my number 1. It's my number 1. So, I mean, that should say enough, right? Anyways, we are on like 20 some minutes here. I've been trying to trim these down to 10. I think this is the longest one that I've done. So I apologize for that, but thank you if you've stuck around for this. I really do appreciate that. Let me know in the description below what you guys thought of this list. If you guys liked it, if you think I'm crazy that I put Shadow Doctor number 4 as my number 1 pick of the week, or what you would have picked for your number 1, I'd love to know. Let's chat it up. Hit me over on Instagram as well, because of course I'm over there all the time. I live over there. But yeah, so those are my top picks for New Comic Book Day of May 26, 2021. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit that little bell notification as well so you can be notified of all the videos that I've been putting out each and every week. I truly appreciate all the support. You guys have all been awesome in this community. So much love to all you guys. Really appreciate that. And until next time, I will talk to you later.